And what this basically is I have wrapped all this in a container. So this is our container right here, and I have put in an image view at the very left, and then the text field, and then at the very right we have our image views that are not visible right now. But if we click on create one and do whatever, it is becoming visible. So we're gonna do that next. Alright, for that we're gonna need a email container view and a password container view, right? And not only that, we also need a email what did I call it? Email image view for the icon, right? So we're gonna do that. You know, a lot of it is basically boilerplate stuff, but you just have to do it, even though it's very tedious. I think I called it email. Or what did I call it? Mail? Yeah, I called it mail. And now we're gonna copy that. Type in password image view and give it the lock icon. All right, and now we're gonna do the password text, the text fields. And for this, we need a. Oh, I did click the wrong thing. We need the base text field class that I'm. Oh wow. Okay, the base text field class that I'm going to declare right now. I'm gonna call it base text field. Let's with UI kit right here, and this is something that I'm just going to copy, but I'm going to explain to you what it exactly is doing. Alright, so we have our base text field class, and these two functions that we're overriding here they're not necessary for our case right now because we don't have a border. But if you have a border, the text field is going to be it's not going to have any padding on the left. So what this basically does is it's giving you padding, so the text is not sticking to the left of the text field border. But in our case, it doesn't really matter. So, but I'll just leave it here in case you need it. And what we're basically doing here is we're setting, regular stuff like the font, what's the return key type, the placeholder, and other stuff that you might want to change or add. So it's up to you, but it's very convenient to subclass things in order to create a new, a better structure for your app. So we're going to use the base text field for our email text field. Alright, on placeholder, and for our placeholder I'm gonna call it email return TF. TF stands for text field, by the way. And the background color, I'm going to set it to clear because we don't want to have any background color, right? Going to set the delegate to self because we want to access the delegate functions. And I'm going to copy that. Do the same thing for password. And it is giving us an error that we're going to fix in a minute. And of course you need a secure text entry equals true to give our text field this password thing where the characters are blurred or stars. So that's very important. Okay, down below, we're going to do an extension called login view controller, and we're going to extend it by the text field delegate. Right now we don't need it. We're going to use it later, but just so we stop having that error. Alright, so let us start by constraining the email. Gotta call it email constraints. Gonna constrain the email to the email, the email container view to the view. So we're gonna use the top anchor and constrain it to the very bottom of our email container view. Gonna call logo image view dot bottom anchor, and we're gonna give it a padding of 30. So because I already did the app, I know how it should look like and how much padding we need to make it look good. So if you're doing an app, you should experiment with that too. Now I'm gonna use the leading anchor, which is the left side, and give it a padding of 50. We're gonna do the same with the trailing anchor. Give it -50. And of course we need a height anchor. Gonna constrain it to the well, for this one I'll just use a constant of 55. Sounds good, right? Okay, great. Now if we start the app, we're not going to see anything because, well, it's just a view, no background, no anything. So what we can do now is we can put in our logo image view for the email. So now we're not going to use the view, but we're going to add the sub view to our email container view. So I'm going to call email container view dot add sub view here, and then email image view. And now we're gonna do the center Y anchor. So we're gonna constrain it in the center of our image of our container, right? And constrain it to the left. Which is, yeah, just the leading anchor. Since we don't have any background color, it doesn't really matter. And now we need the width and height anchor as per usual. And we're gonna use the height of our container view and constrain it to the halves of the size of our container view. Going to use the exact same constraint for our width anchor to give it a nice square size, and so it won't be stretched out. Alright, let's start the app and let's see what it looks like. We should see a mail icon on the left side below our logo. Right here we can see it. Looks great. Okay. Yeah, we need another image view. I know it's a lot of images. I'm gonna call it email verification view, image view, And you know what, let me copy that like so. Gonna call it well, right now we're not gonna have it, but just for testing purposes, let me put the check mark here. It's just for testing, right? So don't worry about it. It's just so you can visually see how it looks like. Okay, and this one is going to be basically the same, just so we're going to copy this. It's basically the same, just on the trailing anchor and not the leading anchor. So call verification, call trailing anchor here, and maybe give it a padding of -5, just a little bit. And now we're gonna put in the text field all between them. So I'm gonna use the text field right here, email text field, constraint to the top anchor of our email container view and constraint to the bottom anchor as well. So we're gonna have the full width, full height for our text field, and that's the easy part. We're gonna constrain it to the leading anchor. we're gonna constrain it to the trailing anchor of our email image view. So basically to the right of our image view. Gonna get a padding of 20. And now I'm gonna do the same for the leading anchor of our email verification image view. Point leading anchor, right? Gonna give it a padding of -10. And lastly, I'm gonna say email container view dot add separator line dot light gray. So this is a extension that I put in as well. So you might take a look at it. So now let's start the app, and we should see. Oh, I'm sorry. And we should see a full row with the email view, the text field, a separator line at the very bottom, and at the right the check mark. Right, look at that, it's working. So this, we're gonna make it disappear at first and only appear when we are checking for the validity of our email. So basically we're all gonna do the same. We're gonna copy this, and it's the same procedure for the password, called password constraints. Copy that, paste it in here, change it to password image view, and what we need to change is gonna call it email container view. So we're gonna constrain it to the bottom of our email container view, and this should be the password container view. I'm gonna give it a yeah, that's good enough. The padding is good enough here. And I'm gonna change it all up right here, and this should be the password image view, and we have to create a password verification view as well. And of course the password text field. And let's start the app, and it should be alright. As you can see, it is working. It is looking pretty good already. So I made a little typo here. So what we have to do next is we're gonna create the button here and the labels at the very bottom, and we're gonna make it disappear and appear like so. It's a pretty cool feature, so let's dive right into it.